All right, everyone, let's dive into something that's going to be absolutely crucial for your UPSC exams. And not just the exams, but for understanding what the world might look like when you're leading the charge.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about the future of jobs.
It might not feel like a typical UPSC topic, but trust me, this is relevant for both mains and prelims.
Absolutely. Think about it. You could be writing an essay on the impact of automation on society or tackling questions about green jobs in GS. And let's not forget those tricky current affairs questions in prelims.
Exactly. Having a grasp of where the global job market is headed is a serious advantage.
To really get a clear picture, we're turning to a top-notch source, the World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs Report 2025. Think of it like a sneak peek into how jobs will change in the next few years.
It's not just some random prediction either. The report pulls data from 55 economies, so it's giving us a truly global perspective, which is what the UPSC is all about.
Let's jump right into some of the findings. The report predicts a net increase of 78 million jobs globally by 2030. And that sounds pretty good, right? More jobs. But here's the thing. The types of jobs are going through a huge transformation.
Right. It's not just about the quantity, it's about the quality and the type of jobs that will be available. And technology is a major player in this shift. It's changing the skills needed in the workplace, and whole industries are being reshaped by things like automation and this whole green transition everyone's talking about.
So as future policymakers, you can't just focus on the number of jobs increasing. You really need to understand which jobs are growing, which are declining, and what's causing those changes.
Exactly. Those are the connections that will make you stand out in your answers.
Let's get into some specifics from the report. It highlights some pretty surprising trends when it comes to the fastest growing jobs. Ready for this? Frontline jobs, like farm workers and delivery drivers, are actually experiencing a lot of growth.
I know, it sounds a bit counterintuitive in this age of self-driving cars and drones, right? But think about it, with online shopping booming and global supply chains getting more complex, the demand for people in logistics and delivery is through the roof. And when it comes to farm workers, well, people still gotta eat. And agriculture, at least for now, still needs a lot of human hands.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. But alongside these kind of low-tech roles, the report is predicting huge growth in the care economy. What exactly falls under that?
Good question. The care economy includes all those jobs that focus on, well, caring and supporting others, like healthcare workers, childcare providers, and people who take care of the elderly. As the population ages and the demand for these services keeps rising, the care economy is becoming a major source of employment.
It's interesting how these trends actually kind of challenge the whole robots are going to take over all the jobs narrative.
Yeah, it's a lot more nuanced than that. While some jobs are definitely being automated, others are popping up to meet new demands, filling in the gaps.
It's not just a black and white robots versus humans situation. It's about understanding how technology changes the workplace and then adapting our skills to fit.
Absolutely. Adaptability is key. And speaking of technology, let's look at the other side of the coin. What about the jobs that are actually declining?
Yeah, this one might not be as surprising. The report shows a big decrease in clerical roles like cashiers and data entry clerks.
And that's directly tied to automation, right? Self-checkout kiosks are replacing cashiers, software programs are handling data entry. These tech advancements are making certain roles obsolete.
And that brings up a huge question for you as future policymakers. How can we handle the impact of all this job displacement? How do we ensure those who lose their jobs because of automation have the opportunity to learn new skills and find new jobs?
That's a critical point that the report digs into, and we'll definitely come back to it. But before we jump into solutions, there's another fascinating angle to how technology is affecting the job market. It's not all doom and gloom.
We've talked about jobs disappearing thanks to tech, but are there any being created by it?
Oh, absolutely. Technology is doing this double duty thing you see. It's automating tasks, sure, making some jobs obsolete, but it's also creating whole new categories of jobs. I mean, someone has to design those robots, right? Someone has to build them, maintain them, repair them.
That's a great point. So it's not just about losing jobs to machines. It's about what new opportunities come along with all this progress.
Exactly. And this is where upskilling comes in big time. The report really hammers this point. Home workers need to adapt. To stay relevant, they've got to learn new skills, especially in hot areas like AI, robotics, all that data analysis stuff.
I bet this is ringing some bells for all you UPSC aspirants out there.
Yeah.
Getting a handle on these tech trends, figuring out how they'll impact the workforce. That's gold, not just for your exams, but for being a savvy policymaker in the future.
Couldn't agree more. Now let's shift gears a bit to another big force shaping things. The green transition. The report highlights how all these efforts to fight climate change, to make things more sustainable, well, it's opening up a ton of job opportunities.
This has got to be music to India's ears, right?
Yeah.
With our big goals for renewable energy and sustainable development.
Exactly. The report specifically points to a rising need for renewable energy engineers, environmental engineers, and get this, specialists in electric and autonomous vehicles. These are all areas where India has the potential to be a real global leader.
Okay, so UPSC Dream Team, listen up. How can India leverage all that incredible human capital, all our tech smarts, to make the most of this green transition and build a more sustainable future?
That right there is a question practically begging to be on your exam, so get those brains working. No, we've talked global trends, but let's narrow the focus a bit. Zoom in on India. This report has some super interesting insights about where India fits into the global workforce puzzle.
One thing that jumped out at me was India's leading role in AI skills enrollments. The report mentioned a lot of this growth comes from corporate sponsorship of something called Gen AI training. Can you break that down for us? What is Gen AI and why is it such a big deal?
Gen AI, short for generative AI, is like this super creative branch of artificial intelligence. It can make brand new content, stuff like text, images, music, even code. It's moving fast, constantly evolving, and has the potential to really shake things up across industries.
So Indian companies are getting their workforce trained in this cutting-edge tech.
Yep, they're putting their money where their mouth is. And it's not just about theory. The report emphasizes that Indian companies are all about practical application. They're weaving Gen AI into their operations, aiming to boost efficiency, productivity, and innovation.
That's impressive. It really does seem like India is aiming to be a major player in the global tech scene.
No doubt. And it's not just Gen AI either. The report also flags that Indian employers are looking to beat the global average when it comes to adopting other technologies too. For example, a big chunk of them expect things like semiconductors and quantum computing to totally change how they operate, and soon.
Whoa, talk about some serious tech leaps. But what does this speedy adoption of these advanced technologies mean for the average Indian worker?
Now that's the million-dollar question, and it loops us right back to upskilling and reskilling. These tech advancements are exciting, definitely open doors, but they also pose a challenge, especially to folks who don't have the skills to keep up.
So it's not just about welcoming new tech with open arms.
Yeah.
It's about making sure everyone benefits, that nobody gets left in the dust.
Exactly. And here's where the government comes in, where policy interventions are crucial. The report stresses the need for policies that promote lifelong learning, policies that help workers transition smoothly and create safety nets for those who lose their jobs due to automation.
Sounds like we need a multi-pronged approach here, one where everyone's involved, individuals, businesses, and the government.
Bingo. There's no magic bullet solution, but the report gives some solid advice on how to move forward.
So let's unpack those recommendations a bit. What concrete steps can individuals, businesses, and the government take to get ready for the future of work?
Well, first things first, individuals need to fully embrace the idea of lifelong learning.
I know it can feel overwhelming, right? Like everything's changing so fast, especially tech.
It's definitely a challenge keeping up with the pace, but the key is to be proactive. Don't wait for things to change around you. Take charge of your own skills, your own professional growth. Look at your field, figure out what skills are in high demand, and then go get them. Invest in some training, take some courses.
So it's not necessarily about hitting the books again, going for another degree.
Not always. There's a ton of stuff online now. Online resources, boot camps, workshops, all sorts of ways to upskill quickly and efficiently. And hey, don't forget about soft skills. Those are more important than ever now.
Yeah, stuff like communication, being able to think critically, solve problems on the fly.
Those are becoming super valuable in this age of automation.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
What about businesses? What's their role in all this, getting their workforce ready for the future?
Well, they've got to make employee development a top priority. That means offering chances for upskilling, reskilling, setting up mentorship programs, and really building a culture of continuous learning.
Like they say, what's good for the employee is good for the company.
Exactly. Investing in their employees' growth helps companies adapt to the changing job market. And it can boost their own productivity and innovation at the same time.
Okay, let's talk about the big guy in the room, the government. What kind of policies do we need to make sure that everyone benefits from all these tech advancements and that no one gets left behind?
Well, education is a big one. We need to completely rethink how we're educating our students. We need to give them the skills they'll actually need for these future jobs, the ones that'll be around when they graduate. That means more focus on STEM, practical skills training, and making lifelong learning a core part of the system.
Sounds like we need a total overhaul, not just some minor adjustments.
You got it. We got to think long term, be strategic. Another crucial piece of the puzzle is social safety nets. As automation starts to shift things around, maybe even eliminate some jobs altogether, we absolutely need to have programs that support the people who are affected.
Programs like unemployment benefits, job retraining, things to help people transition to new careers.
Exactly. It's about giving a safety net to the people who are most vulnerable during these changes.
So navigating this future of work isn't a solo mission. It requires everyone to work together, individuals, businesses, and the government, all hands on deck.
Absolutely. We're all in this together, and collaboration is key to building a future where everyone has a real shot at success.
All right, future policymakers, we've thrown a lot of information your way. Remember, understanding these trends and how they'll play out, it's not just about acing the UPSC, it's about equipping yourselves to lead India into this new era, an era of economic growth and social progress.
And don't forget, the future isn't something that just happens. We create it. By understanding these forces that are shaping the future of work, you're empowered to make smart decisions, decisions that will benefit not just you, but the whole country.
And that wraps up our deep dive for today. We hope you found it useful, maybe even a little inspiring.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell. That way you won't miss any of our future deep dives into topics that are super relevant for your UPSC journey. We're here to help you every step of the way.
Keep learning, keep asking those tough questions, and keep working towards making a positive impact on the world. Best of luck with your UPSC preparations.